Hi everybody. This is Thursday and I'm a little bit late getting this video made because I had that problem with this camera earlier this week, but I seem to have solved my problem. So I'm back with the YouTube videos, so that's good. Today it occurs to me because it's July and because I celebrated the 4th of July by doing This Land Is Your Land with you, that it would be appropriate for us now to look at the actual national anthem instead of my pretend national anthem, and that is the Star-Spangled Banner. Now everybody knows, because they learned it in school, that the Star-Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key, which is true. I would like to point out that it's the poetry that was written by Francis Scott Key, not the music. The music was a popular song of the day, which was called To Anacreon in Heaven, or Anacreon, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, To Anacreon in Heaven. It was probably written by John Stafford Smith. But it was a popular tune of the day. And Francis Scott Key wrote a poem, probably wasn't thinking he was writing a song. It was probably somebody else who combined his poem with To Anacreon in Heaven, and created this unforgettable song. He wrote the song, of course, during the War of 1812. So we can remember the poem was written in 1812. The song was older than that. The music, that is, was older than that. Francis Scott Key was on board a ship during the Battle of Fort McHenry in 1812 and was terrified from the bombing, which was relentless, and it lasted all night. But when the bombs went off, they gave off enough light that he could see that the flag was still waving. And as long as the flag was still waving, he held on to some hope. And when the morning came, the flag was still waving. It was battered and bruised, but it was still there. And that's what the poem, of course, says. The Star-Spangled Banner is a difficult song to sing because it covers a range of an octave and a half. Here's an octave. And here's another half. So the distance, the range that a singer has to cover is from down there to, up there, which is for many singers a long way. And there are big leaps, and it's just a more difficult song to sing than, say, This Land Is Your Land. And a lot of people don't sing it very well, as you no doubt have noticed. However, it is a song that all of us need to know if we're Americans, and we need to know the words, and we need to know the music. I'm not going to concern myself with the words today. I mean, I'm going to sing it at some point and ask you to sing it with me, but I'm more interested right now in the way the song is constructed. And if you listen to this, the first two measures of the song, what you will hear is, if I play them all together, that is what they call the major tonic triad. Triad meaning a three-note chord. We're in the key of A flat. That's A flat. So if I play, I'm playing 5, 3, 1. Sol, mi, do. And then I go sol, mi, do, mi, sol, do, high do. So we're covering this octave with the and how many times do we do that in chorus as a warm-up? All the time. And that is because our Western harmony is based on that chord. We carry them up. We go. I've got myself into a key I'm not very good at. And so on. We go up by triads. That's the basis of our harmony. The reason that I'm starting and I'm going to end in the key of A flat is because it is the traditional key that the song is sung in. And what really determines the key that the song is sung in is two things. One is which instruments are going to be playing it, and what keys are the most sort of accessible to the instrumentalists who are going to play. And of course that changes based on what instruments you've chosen to play the piece. But the other really important part, at least from my way of thinking, is what's the high note? How high is it? And can the person who's going to sing it hit it? In the key of A flat, that low note is fairly low, at least for a woman or for a tenor. And the high note is E flat, which is definitely a soprano note. It is not outside of an alto's range, but it is a stretch. For them, it is a fairly comfortable note for a soprano and a tenor. So this is a key in which most singers can sing the Star Spangled Banner, so they often do in the key of A flat. I've seen it a lot in the key of B flat, which is a whole step higher, in which case the high note is an F, high F, which is more of a stretch for an alto, and maybe there's some altos who wouldn't want to sing this in B flat. And in fact, I don't really see it very often in any other key than those two. But theoretically, it can be played or sung in any key. It just depends on your vocal range and the instrumentation. Because the song is no longer under any kind of copyright, there are no rules as to what key you play it in. And in fact, it's still the Star Spangled Banner no matter what key you're in. In the key of D, the high note would be a high A. Deliver me from having to sing it in that key, but it's still the Star Spangled Banner, isn't it? We haven't changed the song by changing the key. So what I want you to look at is a homework sheet that I gave you that looks like this. And it has the opening bars of the Star Spangled Banner written at the top in the key of A flat. Now notice the key signature before you do anything else. There are 4 flats written there. And if you know the names of the notes on the lines and spaces, you can tell that it's B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. B-E-A-D, it spells bead. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Those are the flats you have to remember in the key of the A flat. So if you're playing the piano like I am right now, that first note is E flat. It's not E, looks like an E, but there's an E flat in the key signature, so all E's are E flat. So that's E flat, C, A flat, C, E flat, A flat. That's in the key of A flat, and I've written it out for you. Then I wrote it out for you in the key of B flat because it's commonly written in that key too. Now there's 2 flats to think about, B flat and E flat, and it starts on F. How do I know it starts on F? Well, if I'm in the key of B flat, then I have to play up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5th in the key of E flat is an F. B flat, C, D, E flat, F. So the first note in the Star Spangled Banner in the key of B flat is an F. F, D, B flat, D, F, B flat. Back to the key of A flat, E flat, C, E flat, C, A flat, C, E flat, A flat. That's what's written on the paper. Look at the paper and make sure you understand those 2 lines. Make sure you understand why they're written the way they are. Also notice that I've given you the triad right here. That's an A flat triad, and this is a B flat triad. It shows you those 4 notes. B flat on the bottom, D, F, and B flat. Or A flat on the bottom, C, E flat, and A flat. They're written there as a chord. That's what the chord looks like. Those are the notes that are used in the opening measures of the song, whatever key you happen to be in. Now I would like you to finish writing the other 3. I've given you the triad. You can see what the pattern is. And I would like you to be able to write out the first couple of notes in the Star Spangled Banner by knowing the triad. It's not really that hard. But I've given you the first couple of notes in the key of C, and I've given you the C major triad. So you figure it out from there. And then I did the same thing in the key of A and the key of D. I wanted to give it to you in a couple of keys that used sharps, so that you could be thinking about sharps, not just flats. But in fact, I have never seen it written in the key of A or the key of D, because it's pretty high. Okay, so I expect you to be able to write those out. So try it, and if you have trouble with it, let me know, please. Now, at the bottom of the page, I have given you the whole tune in the key of A flat. And I'm going to play it for you now. You know perfectly well how it sounds. But what I want you to do as you listen to me play it is to follow the music with your finger. Don't look at me playing the piano. Look at the music and follow along. I'm going to go nice and slow and see if you can make sense out of every black mark that's written there. Okay? Here we go. Here's a secret question, a sort of a quiz question. I discovered as I was playing it just then that I've written one note wrong. I played it right. I made the correction as I was going along. See if you can find it. That's your bonus question. What note did Beth write incorrectly? You get extra credit for that. Let me know if you figure it out. 2 marks that I want to be sure you know. In the last line, on the last line of the music, in 2 different places, there's a note, and over that note is a curved line with a dot inside. Do you know what that means? In music, it's called a fermata. F-E-R-M-A-T-A, fermata, and it means a hold. So when we get to I held that note longer than the 1 beat that it's written for. It's a quarter note, so it's supposed to get 1 beat. But it has a fermata over it, so that means hold it. And now you ask, how long should I hold it? Well, that's up to whoever's performing the music. So in this case, I'm performing the music by playing the piano, and I held it as long as I felt like it. If I were conducting you, you all would have to follow me, and I would be the one who decided how long is it going to be held, and I would hold my hands out, and then I would release you, and we would go on, and that's how you'd know. If you were a band leader, you'd be holding all the band instruments with your hands. If you were maybe a duet, singing it together, you would look at each other, and then you would sort of move your head and go on. There's body language that people use to signal how far to slow down and how long to last and how long a fermata should last. There's another one at the end of the piece, which is typically written there, that's kind of obvious. At the end of a piece, you want to hold it out for dramatic effect and so that everybody can say, play ball. The other mark I wanted you to notice is that it happens 3 different times, is a natural sign. So let's look at the top line of the Star Spangled Banner. The second to last note that I just played is a D, but it has a natural sign written in front of it. I hope that you can figure out what that means. A natural sign means that in the key signature, we have D flat, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. This is a D. And so typically what one would expect but that's not how the song goes. The composer, who we think was probably John Stafford Smith, wrote a D natural there to make that feel that D natural pushes up to E flat. It becomes a leading tone. It just begs for this, whereas doesn't perform that function as well. And so it just seemed natural to him to put a natural in front of the D flat and make it a D natural. Composer has that choice. It's up to the composer. So it happens 3 different times. This little melody from the beginning repeats, so it happens again at the end of the second line, and then it happens again in the fourth line, for the same reason. It's always the D flat that has been naturalized. That natural sign lasts until the very next measure line, whenever that happens. So if there were a D in the measure after that D natural, it would automatically go back to D flat. The composer would have to continually write a natural sign in front of the D to keep it a D natural, as long as that key signature is in effect. The key signature applies to all Ds, so you'd have to put a natural sign in front of all of them. So that is the way the melody is written. Now, another thing I want you to notice is the time signature. 3/4. 3 beats in a measure. Quarter note gets 1 beat. Here we go. Sing it with me, will you please? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Happy July, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.